When you need to build up your team to handle the growing chaos at work, use Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It gives your job post the boost it needs to be seen and helps reach people with the right skills, certifications, and more. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need a hiring hero? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs.
Study and play come together on a Windows 11 PC. And for a limited time, college students get the best of both worlds. Get the Unreal College Deal. Everything you need to study and play with select Windows 11 PCs. Eligible students get a year of Microsoft 365 Premium and a year of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with a custom color Xbox wireless controller. Learn more at windows.com/student offer. While supplies last. Ends June 30th. Terms at aka.ms/collegepc.
Episode 280, AI for Learning Piano at Home in 2026 Good Day. I'm your host, Robin. And today I want to talk about learning piano, something that is on the quiet wish list of an extraordinary number of adults, and that most of them have either never started or given up on at some relatively early point, not because they lack the desire, but because the traditional path to learning was slow, expensive, dependent on finding and affording a good teacher, and structured in a way that kept genuinely enjoyable music frustratingly far away for a frustratingly long time. In 2026, AI has fundamentally changed what is possible for the home piano learner. And the change is significant enough that I think anyone who has ever wanted to play but concluded it was probably not for them deserves to hear what has actually become available. Imagine you have a keyboard at home. Perhaps you bought it a few years ago, genuinely intending to learn, used it enthusiastically for 3 weeks, and then watched it gradually accumulate the role of expensive shelf. Or perhaps you are thinking about buying one now and wondering whether it would be different this time. The barrier was never wanting to play. The barrier was the slow, discouraging early stage where the gap between what you hear in your head and what your hands can produce is enormous, and the path to closing it feels impossibly long. Traditional piano learning, weekly lessons, scales, beginner pieces that bear no resemblance to music you actually love, is effective for people who commit to it over years, but it requires a kind of patience and a kind of delayed gratification that not everyone can sustain alongside a full adult life. AI learning tools have redesigned the experience from the ground up, and the result is something that is not only faster, but genuinely more enjoyable throughout. Apps like Simply Piano, Playground Sessions, and Flowkey represent the current generation of AI-assisted piano learning. And what they do that is genuinely different from anything that existed before is provide real-time feedback on your playing through a microphone or direct MIDI connection to your keyboard. The app listens to what you play and responds immediately, not in the next lesson, not in the teacher's marginal note on your printed sheet music, but in the same second that you play it. It knows whether you played the right note or the wrong one. It knows whether your timing was slightly rushed in the third bar. It knows whether a specific transition, the left hand to right hand coordination on a particular chord change, is where you are consistently stumbling, and it flags that specific bar for targeted practice rather than asking you to run through the whole piece again. This is precisely the feedback loop that makes lessons with an excellent teacher valuable. And it is now available at any moment you choose to sit down at the keyboard, at whatever pace suits you, for a fraction of the cost of regular in-person instruction. The repertoire question is one that AI-powered piano learning has handled particularly well, because it addresses what I believe is the single biggest motivation killer in traditional piano education. When you learn piano with conventional methods, the music you play in the first year or two of learning, the simplified studies, the beginner pieces, the scales and exercises, bears almost no relationship to the music you actually want to be able to play. The gap between what you are practicing and what you are imagining yourself playing is so wide that many adult learners lose the thread of why they started before they ever reach music they recognize and love. AI learning apps now allow you to choose from a library that includes genuinely popular music, current songs, film scores, classical pieces that people actually know and love, and learn simplified arrangements of them from your very first sessions. As your skills develop, the AI progressively introduces more complex versions of the same pieces or new pieces at a higher level, always keeping you at the edge of your current ability rather than comfortably below it or frustratingly above it. The experience of being able to play something that sounds like music you recognize in the first week of learning is not a small thing. It changes the emotional relationship with practice from obligation to genuine pleasure. Personalized difficulty scaling is something that sounds like a technical feature, but that has a real and tangible impact on the learning experience. Every person who learns piano struggles with different things. Some people find the right-hand melody straightforward, but struggle with left-hand independence. Some find reading music notation natural, but struggle with the physical coordination of playing two hands simultaneously at tempo. Some find slow practice easy, but struggle with gradually increasing the speed without the accuracy falling apart. AI learning tools track exactly where you are struggling, not just which pieces, but which specific bars, which specific transitions, which specific technical challenges, and adapt the curriculum accordingly. If your left hand is the limiting factor, the system will generate targeted left-hand exercises. If your sight reading is significantly behind your playing ability by ear, it will build sight reading practice into your sessions more deliberately. This personalization used to be the distinguishing mark of an excellent teacher who knew their student well. Now, it is built into the software from the first session. For those who want more than app-based learning, AI-enhanced online teaching platforms like Take Lessons and LessonFace now use AI to match students with teachers based on detailed compatibility criteria, learning goals, musical taste, availability, learning style, current level, and to support those teaching relationships with data that helps the teacher understand the student's progress between sessions. The teacher comes to the lesson knowing exactly which bars the student practiced, how many times, at what tempo, and where the persistent difficulties are. The lesson time is spent on the things that actually need a human teacher's attention rather than on assessments that the AI has already handled. The honest thing I want to say is that learning any instrument with any tools requires consistent practice over time, and no AI application changes that fundamental reality. What AI changes is the quality of that practice time, ensuring that every session targets the right things, provides accurate feedback, stays calibrated to your current level, and connects you to music you genuinely love from the very beginning. If you sit down at the keyboard consistently, even for 20 or 30 minutes a day, the modern AI learning tools will use that time significantly more effectively than anything available to home learners 5 years ago. The plateau that used to stop most self-teaching adults from progressing past a certain point has a much better chance of being worked through with the right AI support. There has never been a better moment to start. And if you tried before and it did not work, I would genuinely encourage you to try again with the tools that exist now, because the experience is meaningfully different. Next time, we'll talk about how AI can help you become a smarter secondhand shopper, because the secondhand market has changed dramatically, and AI is one of the reasons why. Have a wonderful day.